your mother pampered you. I will teach you discipline.
In a small Nigerian village, where the river Niger curved gently like a mother's arm around her child, there lived a man named Baba Sadiq and his daughter Zainab. Their home was once filled with warmth and laughter, for Zainab's mother was the kind of woman whose presence made hardship feel lighter. She used to say that a house where love lived did not fear the night. But sickness does not ask permission, and one rainy morning, the woman who held the family together went silent forever. From that day, the house changed. The pots still stood where she had left them, but no songs followed their clatter. Zainab was still young, yet she learned early that when the mother goat dies, the kid learns to cry alone. Her father tried his best, but loneliness pressed heavily on him, and after many months, he brought home another wife. Her name was Hajia Ramatun, a woman with polite smiles that did not reach her eyes. She came with her 2 daughters, Safia and Amina, and with them entered a peace that only pretended to stay. At first, Zainab hoped. She believed that kindness could grow where her mother's love once lived. But the elders often say that not every smiling face carries a good heart, and it did not take long before the truth revealed itself. Baba Sadiq traveled often for trade, and whenever his back turned, the house grew cold. Zainab rose before the first call to prayer to sweep the compound, fetch water, and cook. Safia and Amina slept long and laughed freely. If food finished early, Zainab went hungry. If work remained, it waited for her small hands. Hajia Ramatu often said suffering builds character, but Mama Yero, an old woman in the village, shook her head whenever she saw Zainab's thin frame and tired eyes. She knew that the hand that beats a child cannot also wipe her tears. Zainab learned quickly that silence was safer than truth. The chick that cries too much attracts the hawk, she told herself. And so she swallowed her pain and spoke only to God at night, whispering prayers into the darkness and asking him not to forget her name. At the river, other children laughed at Zainab's faded wrappers and worn sandals. Shame followed her like a shadow, but she remembered her mother's voice telling her that no matter how long the night, the morning would surely come. She carried her suffering quietly, believing that patience, like time, had its own strength. One afternoon, Zainab slipped while carrying a heavy clay pot, and it shattered against the red earth. Hajia Ramatu's anger burned like Hamatan fire. Zainab was beaten and forced to kneel under the sun until evening. Villagers passed by, some with pity in their eyes, others with fear in their hearts. The elders would later say that a child who is not embraced by the village will burn it down to feel its warmth. But Zainab chose endurance instead of bitterness. Only Mama Yero saw everything. She secretly gave Zainab food and whispered that the river that flows quietly is the one that cuts the deepest path. Those words became Zainab's shield. She endured hunger, loneliness, and injustice, believing that goodness, though slow, never loses its way. One night, exhaustion finally overcame her. Zainab collapsed with fever, her small body too weak to rise. That night, Baba Sadiq returned unexpectedly and found his daughter burning with sickness and thin as a dry branch. Fear opened his eyes, and when the neighbors spoke, truth poured out like rain after drought. The elders gathered and declared that however long a log stays in the river, it will never become a crocodile. Cruelty could no longer disguise itself. Hajia Ramatu and her daughters were sent away, not in anger, but in wisdom. For when the thorn is removed, the foot can finally heal. Zainab was taken into Mama Yero's care, where love returned slowly, like sunlight after a long storm. She learned again how to laugh, how to eat without fear, and how to sleep without listening for footsteps. Baba Sadiq knelt before her and asked forgiveness, and Zainab, though scarred, found room in her heart for grace. Years passed, and Zainab grew into a woman known throughout the village for her kindness. She never turned away a hungry child or mocked a wounded soul. People said that gold does not lose its value because it passed through fire. Zainab built a home filled with gentleness, becoming the shelter she once needed. Her suffering did not break her, it shaped her. And so the elders concluded that patience can cook a stone, if only time is enough. Zainab's life stood as proof that even when love is taken too early, it can return in another form, deeper and stronger. The calabash had fallen many times, but it did not break.